we are joined by musician Munya Nyamarebvu. He is the voice of ancestral vibrations and African modern soul, with roots from Pakare Paye Art Center in Norton. And Munya's music bridges between generations, traditional culture and modern principles. Munya, good morning, and thank you for making time to join us this morning. First of all,
thank you so much. Yeah.
When we hear the name Munya Nyamarebvu, who is Munya?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah.
And I would like to say Magadi, Magadi, which is our greeting. This is what we do when we meet each other.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mr. Teach. Munya Nyamarebvu is a Zimbabwean musician, definitely. And I started off music at a very early age. I got my first mbira. This is mbira. It's our instrument from Zimbabwe. When I was 14 years old, that's when my mother bought me my first mbira. And that's when I learned my first song. And I just loved how it made the kids feel joyful. Yeah. And I got on the international stage when I was 24 years old. And I performed again with the mbira in Germany. And again, I fell in love with how that gave so much joy to the audience. So ever since, I think that is what has inspired me to keep going with music.
I mean, I'm looking at your profile here. You say the voice of ancestral vibrations, and I want to zone in on this. What is African modern soul?
So I would say the soul part of it is that mbira is a spiritual instrument, in the sense that it's an instrument that is very popular amongst the Shona people in Zimbabwe. And my music rides on the mbira. I think my rhythms come from the mbira. And so my music is a vessel, and it's a representation of the mbira music from Zimbabwe here in Africa. So I would say that's what it means. It means when you see me on stage performing, be it with my guitar, because at times I play the guitar, and I've managed to adopt my mbira on the guitar. So this is what we are getting. This is the modern soul that you're getting now.
Oh, no, yes. That makes sense. And you highlighted that obviously you picked up the mbira at 14. But in terms of your relationship with music, was that your first interaction with music, or you were a love of music way prior to that? Okay,
so I actually started by learning marimba, which is very much similar to mbira. But it's like the English name, I think it's balafon. Yeah. You know, you play it. Yes. So when I was around 12 or so, and then that was my first instrument. This became my second instrument, and since then it has been like bread and butter. This is my bread and butter instrument. Yeah. So that was my initial exposure to music, the marimba. Then came the mbira, and then later on, I picked up on the guitar.
All right, so I mean, obviously the guitar is slightly more modern and maybe not as African, although even when you look at Zimbabwean music, we've been able to adopt it and use it uniquely. How have you been able to find that balance between modern instruments like the guitar and, you know, the traditional instruments like the mbira? You did highlight that, you know, you can play the mbira on your guitar. I mean, I'm trying to just wrap my head around it. Yeah.
So you know what, I was actually very much impressed when I just discovered recently that, you know, the mbira is actually over 1,000 years old. This is a very old instrument from Africa. And most instruments that we are seeing nowadays, be it the piano and so on, I believe came from, this is the mother instrument. This is the mother instrument.
Oh yes. The DNA.
This is the DNA, this one.
Yeah.
So the songs that I play on the mbira, it's not difficult for me to play them on the guitar. It's just that now it's a stringed instrument, but the rhythms are the same. So the adoption of the sound from the mbira to the guitar has been very easy. It's been a walk in the park for me. Piece of cake. Very easy to do.
And then maybe let's talk about your musical influences. You know, when we think of the mbira, I think we think of Mbuya Stella Chiweshe, we think of Chiwoniso Maraire. You know, we've got a jazz player now also taking that on board. Who are some of your musical influences, especially when it comes to the mbira?
Thank you for asking. Certainly, my first mbira was the Nyonga Nyonga, that Dumisani Maraire, the father to Chiwoniso Maraire. Made is the one who notated Nemamsasa on Nyonga Nyonga. Yeah. So that was my first mbira, and certainly I was listening and playing some of his music, and also traditional music, of course. So Dumisani Marairi certainly, and Chioniso, I actually got an opportunity to meet with Chi when she was alive at the Book Cafe, Manenberg, which was then at the 5th Avenue. So again, she was my influence. And then, of course, later on, Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi has also been an influencer in my music through the Pakare Paye Art Center. But otherwise, also in terms of our literature, our Shona culture is very rich when it comes to literature. So to speak. So otherwise, reading books, you know, those novels that would read in school, going through Netembo, you know, and those stories, Shona stories, has also been a mode of my music and message.
Let's talk about the messaging.
Oh, yes.
What themes and messages are you looking to just share with the world? Obviously, we've dived into the instrument and its influence and impact. But you talked about the tempo and
yes.
you know the influence that literature has had on you. Like in terms of now the messaging and the themes, what is your overriding message, and what are some of the themes of your music?
So certainly, Mbira, you can't separate Mbira music from giving life and hope to people when you are playing it. It's a very sacred instrument, and the music is also there to give positive energy. So my music, again, is like a social commentary. There are so many things we have to learn. There are so many roles that the Mbira plays, and it comes through, and it also comes as a substitute for Anasekuru, our uncles, and also Anatete, the aunts in our family, who play a role in actually imparting positive message to the youth, you know. So there are so many things that we can say would want to advise people. The good advice is all coming from this musical instrument. And this is what I'm just basically also giving to the world.
And in terms of the reception from fellow musicians and even music fans, what has that been like, specifically to your brand of music?
You know, I'll tell you something very, 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 that makes me happy. So one day I was at Pakare Paye Art Center, and as you know, it's not a center where you are taught how to play and so on. I was playing already and singing already. But then the legendary Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi came to me and said, "Mwanangu, waiva," which means go at it, keep going. So that was one of the
that must have been an amazing
Yes, that
moment.
was amazing. You can imagine with his husky voice.
Yeah.
And so I just have to mention that if a giant as big as Oliver Mtukudzi endorsed it, I mean, you can speak.
That was a seal of approval.
Yes, that. So, but the reception otherwise, I've also collaborated with a German artist. I've also collaborated with an American artist. And also, I've also done a collaboration, experimental collaboration on a project of mine called Ngati Danani with 27 musicians from 27 countries.
Oh, that
so
sounds
that just shows that
yeah.
people are loving the music, Mbira music in particular, here from Zimbabwe.
Right. And in terms of maybe the way forward, we've detailed your journey from when you were 14 and you picked up the Mbira to when you were 24 and you went on tour and all that, and all the collaborations and support that you've received. What's next for Munya Nyamarebvu?
I think Zimbabwe, Africa, as long as this instrument is in my hands, I'll keep playing it.
All right, let's go.
And I'll keep giving you the message of hope. And hopefully, I'll bring life through music to you. And it is also my greatest desire that we keep playing the music, the Mbira music.
Thank you very much, Munya, for taking time and bringing life and excitement to Morning Rush on this Friday. I wish you all the best as you journey in your career.